Yes.
What's your last name?
Brown.
I spell that? Is that like the color?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Is that an E on the end?
No. Come on. No.
I heard you spelled it with a Y.
That's okay. I had my first two experiences at the Whaley House. Anyone not familiar with the Whaley House? When we get there, it's down San Diego Avenue, I will explain the Whaley House and what happened. And there was a woman up there. They walked over to the plaza, found the security guard, drug him back, told him about the woman. The security guard said there's no way a woman could be up there because that second floor is a facade. Originally, this was a full 3-story white building. After it burnt down, they only finished the ground floor. The only way to get inside that second-story catwalk is from the inside with a ladder. Anyone want to walk to the door and look up?
Yeah.
Courtyard, and again, I was in front. At that time, the organization that had the property kept that first light on in the hallway. This, of course, this company, they turned it off. But with that light on, you could see through the lace curtains into the hallway perfectly clear. I wanted a photo of that. The flash was ready. I brought the camera up, looked through the viewfinder, and there was a lady standing on the other side of the door. This is El Campo Santo Cemetery, the third official cemetery in San Diego. The first one is by Seaport Village. It's called Dead Man's Point. The second is up at the Presidio. The cemetery there is called the King's Garden. There are still people buried in the King's Garden.
But they stopped burying people.
The cemetery started in 1849. It lasted for 38 years. So that made it 1887. About there. We're going to head this way. Had the property, took care of 2 cats. The caretaker. Is that Candy? Took care of 2 cats. As I walked up, both cats were underneath that bench. I sat down, 1 cat took off, 1 cat stayed with me most of the night. When I heard what sounded like someone had a pair of cowboy boots and stomped them up here on the porch. Freaked me out. I walked down those stairs across the grass to the front of the house. The photos I'm going to show you is from inside the Whaley House. The other photos I'm going to show you from the Whaley House property are all in the back here. This is where I find most of my stuff. One night I was standing by that gas light, taking pictures against the side of the house. I saw someone walking to my right. I turned and looked. Those steps, a woman started walking to the left of me. I was already in motion. I took the next couple steps. When I first started ghosting, I spent many hours, many days, 4 or 5 nights a week at this house, taking thousands of photos. In the beginning, I had no idea what I was looking at or looking for. So I would take multiples. I would take 4 or 5 of this, move to the left, take 4 or 5 more so I could compare them. Out of those first several thousand, there was only 5 that turned out anything. They were of that upper right-hand window, and I will show those to you later.
Go ahead, somebody asked?
No, she's blocking the light. Oh. The sun.
The gallows stood just right over the wall here?
Nope, the gallows is where the house was built on.
Oh.
That's one of the big confusing parts. So they took the gallows out and built the house on the gallows.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought they did hangings here afterwards from the trees, but Anna Whaley planted these pepper trees, so they couldn't have hung anybody there.
Okay, yeah. Gosh, they built these houses right where the gallows were. That's old, isn't it?
That's crazy. Moving back and forth right here. About the size of a ping pong ball. And on my LED screen, I could see this little white guy moving around. I said, I see you, I know you're here, I'm going to take your picture. Took a couple more photos, and I'll show you one of him going around the corner. This is a very active building. This is a very active stairwell. One particular night I was walking on the stairwell here, or walking on the second landing. I went through this door. When I went through, I shut it back. Walked on the second porch here, went down the back stairs. As I walked down those back stairs, for some reason I turned back and looked through this shut door, and through one pane of glass, I saw a large black mass move across this wall. She has been seen many times in the dining room. We're going to go down there in a minute. When security is all done, after they lock up the building, when the cleaning crew is all done, they'll come back in the middle of the night. And occasionally this door is open here. They think maybe that's Esmeralda opening that door. Like I said, this corner of the property is where the people after the group will tell me that they are touched. Occasionally, when there's a large group, we start walking around the corner. Some people will stay behind and they'll take pictures. And then at the end of the tour, they'll say, you know what, when we stood behind and took some pictures, and it sounded like someone was walking around this corner. And they took off and left the lights on that night. 2 of the photos that I'm going to show you were taken in this room. Both times always against the wall. One of the photos is there's going to be something here hovering above the floor. The other one, there's going to be something there in the ceiling. About 8 months ago, 9 months ago now, something happened in the Jolly Boy that we're going to go to. Something happened there that caused them to no longer use spoons on the place settings. When we get to the Jolly Boy, I will tell you what experience happened that caused all the restaurants not to use spoons. We're going to head back this way.
pictures. That's right.
Julian is a small town up in the mountains that was started and expanded because they found gold up there. And when they did, prospectors and miners would come by the sailboat flow into the harbor, they'd row ashore, they'd get some supplies, and they'd take off to get some of that gold. Even the crew and the captain would leave the ship to go get some of that gold. So there'd be many ships out there in the harbor that would be tied or moored together, that'd be empty. The townspeople needed some supplies of their own. They would row out to those ships and they would loot them. They would take doors, windows, hardware, things like that. The first flagpole in Old Town was a mast that they cut down off of one of those ships. On that table, the sheriff at that time was on the other side, and she was eating. As she was eating, she heard a bang. She looked over, saw something fall from the green part of this partition, got up, walked over, found a spoon on the floor. Thought that was a little odd because there's no one back in this part of the restaurant. Went and got some other employees, brought them over, explained what happened. And as they were looking around, they noticed that the only place setting missing a spoon was this one right here. They also witnessed the knife and the fork were moving back and forth. 2 people quit that night. They're very superstitious. That's why they currently do not set with spoons. Tomorrow, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, they might start setting with spoons again, but right now they just do not. I got an email from the security manager. He is no longer here, so I can say that it is not like him to email anyone. He was here 5:30 in the morning watching satellite news. He heard this. The squeaking of the door. He looked over expecting someone to walk through. Maintenance, no one walked through. He got up, went into the kitchen, there was no one there. The lights were off, and the only other doors around that corner we're going to walk by in a second. That door was locked. So he ended his email to me that he is now a believer in ghosts because he finally had his first experience. Now we'll head out.